Hi, everybody. Welcome back. So yeah,
Great overlay.
yeah, you know, I just kind of grabbed the grabbed it and threw it up there for us, so that we're at least like here together or whatever. So just so everybody that's watching knows, Reno will be joining us shortly, so we can get to the regular campaign. But while we're waiting for Rena to come in, I don't want to have to mess up my overlays that I already have set up. Well, like change the camera for the number of PCs, and we're not playing until she gets here anyways. I figure, screw it, we'll just do this. This works. Anyways, hi, Tyler.
Hi.
Ooh. Honestly, we should just do one of these and just cut Messy out. There we go. It's just Messy shouldn't be here. Oh, go.
Yeah, over.
Go away.
I mean, Messi is just in real life a Yondis, so.
Ouch.
Yeah, I'm playing true to myself off screen. Oh, now I'm on screen. Damn. See, the joke's gone now. But.
You know, I feel like you should just move us, like make us bigger and cover Kingmaker and Throne Keeper.
I'm trying to do.
Because this is the Regicide campaign, so.
That's what I'm trying to do. Just gonna
like not the actual campaign.
do one of these. Just like, there we go. Hold on. Just keep. Good enough. Good. Hold on. Wait. Now we're. Oh. Did you want to? No. I don't think it's possible. Sorry, I'm trying here.
I can just.
No. It's just the shape. The shape doesn't work.
It has to. Wait. You got to keep Messi in for you to do it to cover. Nope. Keep going. Just a little bit smaller.
Smaller?
Yeah, just smaller. Just a tad smaller.
Guys, it's okay.
And then move it just over top of Kingmaker.
It's not worth all this effort.
Thronekeeper, you know?
Yeah, but the problem is,
look at that.
You can still see like Josh and Tesh. Like, I mean, to be
I mean,
fair,
that's fine.
Josh and Tesh are the Messies of their campaigns. So.
I mean, that's why they're on the bottom, right? They're all lined up based on their like characters, right? Ophios and
No.
I was gonna say Doxy's character are very similar.
No, I don't think so.
I think so. I think they're very similar. Hi, Aklo. How's it going?
You actually watched that whole thing, Tyler. So your opinion?
No, I don't need to hear it.
I already said my opinion. I
didn't get to hear.
Yeah, he already said it.
Listen, I went pee.
I already told him it.
I had to go pee. I want to hear the opinion.
Oh, well, you pee, you lose. That's just the saying,
I
so.
basically pretended like I hadn't been watching it and told Messi that I said, so how'd it go? And Messi goes, oh, it was great. All that stuff. And I said, yeah, right, you little coward, smacking your friend and running away.
You
had a chance to not be Yondis and just decided to stick with Yondis.
Why would I not be Yondis?
That was your take, but
yeah,
I mean,
he's cool, right, kids?
I expected him to kind of become like Arena. You had double hand axes, and you didn't go face.
What a
first
terrible
into
weapon!
battle.
Double hand axes suck.
Dude, they're great for when you got to climb stuff though, like into a tree.
I can climb with spider climbing. Come on, guys. Just use the scroll.
Nice. That's nice. Maybe if you had kept the strings from your banjo, you could have wrapped them around the tree and just climbed with those.
Probably.
I just think it's funny that everything I ever try to plan for Messi just falls through because his rolls are just the absolute worst.
Like
ever. He's just the absolute. He's just the worst.
No.
That's his defense.
I mean, my favorite part of every campaign I think you're a part of, Scott, even over on Lost Initiative, is nobody ever takes notes.
That's just a trope, I think. I think that's every campaign.
Okay, I take notes occasionally.
No. Neil occasionally takes notes. That's occasionally. Maggie always took notes. But yeah.
I'm not in.
I'm talking about like
okay?
currently all the ones that I have seen. Lost Initiative, you guys forget everything that's going on in your Star Wars.
I actually I take notes in the Star Wars game, but my notes are very, very simplistic. Like I'll write like a name, like Kaylee. That means nothing to me, but I wrote down the word. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
I'm more or less referencing the ship.
Oh yeah. Its current state, I have that written down. How it got there, whatever. But. Are you so you're not going to tell me your opinion of what transpired tonight? You just gonna?
I honestly didn't expect the blob thing. I very intrigued by the cats and the situation you put them in. But
is what in that book?
The blob.
Oh, that's a dribbling mouther. The only difference I did from an actual dribbling mouther is I gave it a 4 greater chance to hit, because these are unique creatures to this area. But it should be instead of just the plain monster manual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was something special.
So sorry, it is special. It's a fucking freaky creature. I'm sorry, Tyler, continue.
Yeah, I just didn't expect a lot of the stuff that happened. I definitely understood the you're gonna have to survive for yourself and then you leave situation. I think a little bit quicker than Messi did. Wait, what do you mean? what do you mean?
I'm like, you need
like
to
he's
act
literally
how...
testing you.
I'm like, you need to act how Yondis wouldn't. So I run away. No. You need to act how Yondis wouldn't. So I run away.
or the making sure you had an escape route when you go into battle instead of going in headlong and hoping you can just achieve victory. You definitely stayed true to Yondis still.
Yep.
That's my hard take in that opinion. There was absolutely no change in how your character acted or anything in comparison to Yondis.
Yep. You're right.
Oh God.
Therefore, my humble opinion is it lacked any development from a character standpoint.
I see what you're saying. I get the point you're saying. I think it'll tie in the future.
Okay.
I think.
Yep.
Off-screen
I will say one thing that really stuck out to me. It's good to know that if Ophios and Yondis had been in different situations, he would have left Ophios to die and run away. You know, like if roles were reversed, you just proved the point of like, oh, your friend's dying.
Okay.
I'm just gonna.
Okay. First of all, Ophios didn't see that, so he wouldn't know that.
Ophios won it, but I do now.
Chat just made me think getting Messi and Mike into a campaign together would be ruinous.
Oh my God! Please make it happen for like a one-off, a Patreon session.
I want to be able to enjoy the session. I'll just sit there and be like, no, just stop. Just stop.
Yeah, so first of all, Ophios would have been different. He wouldn't have treated Ophios the same as the stupid Vigor Orc. I mean, he's great. He had a cool great axe. But I don't know how this creature works. He ate one of my friends. I could hang around, but my other friend's just completely mind controlled. So cut my losses, you know?
Oh, Jake, that is what happened, but it was literally for sure, like if we tried to save him, we all would have died situation.
Yeah, if Ophios was the guy in the blob, I would not have stayed. If Ophios was the guy walking away from the blob, I would have helped more. But it wasn't Ophios. It was Orc NPC that we met this episode.
Which is the person you've been bonding with them for like a month. You traveled together,
Well, I mean, you know, they're orcs.
That's more or less, I think, was the part that maybe was missed, was the fact that trying to develop something behind the scenes to where you had interacted with this group for longer than the actual session. That is the only note that I would say, because that's hard to do. I struggled doing that. Well, all three of us struggled doing that when we had the 3-month jump.
I mean, it's not that big of a stretch to say that the guys that you've been traveling with, the group of 3 orcs that you're the outsider in, that you don't treat them all equally, you know? Like, I think it's fair to assume that Yondis wouldn't have been like, those are my best friends, I will die for them after 1 month. You know what I mean? You just cut Ophios out. Why is it just me?
Well,
hey, chat.
I'm listening to you guys chat, which is fun for me. I'm very entertained. And then I'm,
You're just gonna put like 2 big, like you and Tyler just staring down at me like.
So let's change this up a bit. If it was Rena in the blob, would you have left the same way?
Well, I probably would have used healing word.
I don't think that would have done anything.
Not sure what that would have done. I mean, what could I have done? I had 2 hand axes, no armor, my spells didn't work, you know? It's like the Yondis kit didn't work.
That's because you didn't have Yondis's gear. You didn't have. It wasn't supposed
Yeah.
to be Yondis.
Yeah, I know. I know. But that's the. Okay. All right. So just because, okay, I get what you guys are saying, but taking away someone's, everything, making them throw away the past and all that, and travel with a group of orcs for a month, isn't going to make Yondis, especially, who is very stubborn in his ways, completely throw away everything he's had about his old life. You know what I mean? Like it's natural for a noble, and a rogue to want to adapt with the kit they have. That's what their kit's based around, is adapting to the environment that they're in. So he's not going to try to change the kit. He's going to try to make the kit work. And obviously that didn't work. And the boss man, I don't remember his name, that we didn't write down, did tell me that wasn't going to work. But in Yondis's case, I felt like it was maybe too much too soon for him. And he is the type to give up easier than most, I think. So, and I don't want to like I don't want to over-explain.
We have words for that. But.
Yeah, sure. It's a roleplay character. You could insult him all you want. It's fine. But I think it'll work in the end. I have some ideas for that. Like when I was thinking about running, I was like, how do I explain that? Like, and I came up with, I think, something that will work in the future that will actually tie in pretty well, kind of like achieving your goals doing it the wrong way, but still ending up with the right result, kind of a thing. I think that'll be what happens here. And I don't want to say any more about the result of that, because again, we're not going to see Yondis for a while.
I also have some strong opinions of you being like, well, yeah, Messi did a terrible thing, or Yondis did a terrible thing, but Ophios burned down a town. Like, okay, little bit of difference there for sure.
I don't know about that. I mean, I killed one guy. Like
you killed one guy in the most brutal, cold blood kind of way.
You're telling me Ophios wouldn't have done something similar? I mean, he did burn down a town. He locked people in a barn and was like, okay.
You're talking Ophios right now? No,
I'm not talking Ophios right now.
But Ophios back then, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Yondis did one bad thing.
Only one.
I mean, debatably more.
Only one ever.
One really bad thing. One unforgivable thing.
Here's the argument in that. Arguing one bad as being less bad than another bad is still bad. It doesn't make a difference.
Witcher?
There's deciding which is
Who are
lesser.
you, fucking Geralt? No, it does make a difference. There's a big... It's yes, that's why we have different degrees of murder in law.
Well, then here's
manslaughter.
Then here's an interesting argument if we want to get into that debate. Does doing good
politics.
make up for bad? Are you balancing the tips of the scale if you do enough good?
Yeah. I think your good and bad actions have different weights, and one cannot weigh the other, and you can be considered one way. Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's people that don't agree, and that's fine. But yeah.
I don't believe good actions will ever outweigh bad actions, or bad actions outweigh good actions. I think they need to be looked at separately as their own entities.
But it's the same person, you know?
Whether it's the same person or not, it's the difference of which ones occurred where and whether they have learned along the way.
Yeah, of course. And Ophios burnt down a town. Now he's a better guy. I'll be honest. Ophios
he's still not a good guy.
Is he better because he burned down the town?
I think so. Yeah, I think it did make him a stronger. No.
Confucius say burn down town.
Morally, he does more good now than he used to. Less evil now than he used to. But compare that to like this green Elijah guy, this freshy Elijah guy. I would still say that they're not. I mean, Elijah hasn't done anything really. Like. Except
we know he rolls poorly.
Like, yeah, he doesn't do anything. So I would say that in Ophios's case, you could make the case that even though he has improved, he's still not like, average with the common man. You know what I mean? In this land. So.
I mean,
what were we talking about?
I don't know. I was just talking like philosophy about good and evil, and whether good deeds outbalance evil deeds, or evil deeds balance out good. to
jumping to
decide
chat
whether
really
a
quick.
person is good or bad based on their deeds, whether those are determinate factors. I'm speaking in vague terms, but because
Yeah. And I think you have to be a lot more specific with it to actually weigh it. I think there is definitely a weight, like in Naga's case there. Depends on the war crime. Some are a lot worse than others. If it's like something like a dictator who's killed thousands or something, pushes a baby stroller out of the way of a moving car, I would not say that outweighs the bad he's done. I would say that he's still a bad person for doing that, even if he did one good thing. And I'm not saying that, oh, he did that, so his bad stuff that he did isn't as bad. But if he was a war criminal or whatever, and then turned his life over and started doing all this good for the community, then yes, I would say that that good that he's done for the community, if it's helped more lives than he's hurt, that it's a net positive, and that, in my opinion.
People are more complex than good or bad. That's just fact.
Yeah.
You're not either a good person or a bad person. You're just a person, and every person does good things and bad things.
It's like
what you personally rate as good or bad, and what somebody else personally rates as good or bad are going to be different. Like, for instance, one person might be like, littering is the worst thing ever, and somebody else would be like, yeah, but you drive through stop signs without even looking. Like you know, and somebody else would be like, yeah, but both of you guys talk in movie theaters. You know, it's like there's different, and I'm using very low scale things just to not get into the nitty gritty of, you know, smortion versus, you know, whatever, right? But
if I
by the way, I talk in movie theaters a lot, and I don't go through the stop signs or litter. But
I sometimes talk in movie theaters. But
no, I talk through every movie theater. I talk a lot in movie theaters, but I whisper. I lean over and whisper to you. Hey,
don't ever go to a
Messy.
movie with Wade. He will want to smack you.
Do you see that part?
My thing is, I used to do it a lot, and it really irritated Wade, because I would sit there and I would figure out what was going to happen, and then I'd say it to him because I like it. Basically, is like, hey, this is kind of what's going to happen, because otherwise it's like, oh, I guessed it, but he's like, no, you didn't. Like,
so you've ruined the movie for him.
Yeah, but it's I like mysteries. I love figuring that stuff out. So when I watch movies throughout the whole time, like even when I'm sitting by myself in my own apartment, I was watching a movie. I was watching Knives Out for the first time, which, by the way, amazing movie.
Yeah, it is.
I know we're getting off of D&D, but I was watching Knives Out, and I figured out what happened. Like, I figured out the killer.
Just that.
Figured out the
I don't know
killer
what Knives
before
Out
all
is,
the
but
stuff
don't say because I might eventually see a movie. I hate spoilers.
I'm not gonna say. I'm
hate
not gonna
spoilers.
say. Yeah, I'm not gonna say what happened, because I'm very much the same way. It's like Knives Out recently just came out. By the way, you can watch it on Amazon Prime Video. I think is where I found it.
Hey, and if you got a Prime, why not Prime sub?
Listen, I don't have any spare time to watch movies that aren't Hamilton again. So I can't. I can't.
I haven't watched Hamilton yet. I still need to do that.
Oh
But
God,
Knives-
I'm unfortunately I'm one of those plebs that's horribly addicted to Hamilton.
As far as like, do you like mystery movies, like murder mystery kind of stuff, or
I
books
like
that?
I like good film, like film that people have put a significant amount of effort into. So that sounds vague, but it can be a mystery, but it's not a specific genre.
I would say the film was good. It's definitely a more modern. It's shot modern, like
It's a million times better than the stupid train one. The train one is so bad.
Oh my God.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Murder on the Orient Express. The remake of it was, and the original.
These movies sound like movies that I would like. The title right there says, "Yep, dumb movie," and so I probably would never watch it.
Knives Out is great. I think Knives Out is one of my favorite movies that cracked the top 10 now that I've seen it.
Really?
Because that's a type of movie I like. My number one movie, by the way, that I rate off of this is a movie called The Rookie. It's about a teacher who's in his 30s that makes it into Major League Baseball. I'm a sports movie guy. I like inspirational movies. The reason it's the number one movie for me is because it's the only movie still in my life that I can watch time and time again and still enjoy it and not get bored of it. I watched it 20 times when I was in the hospital after my kidney transplant, because I couldn't sleep at night because they wouldn't give me Benadryl because I had an adverse reaction to morphine, which, by the way, I hate morphine and I don't think anybody should be on opioids. I think opioids as painkillers are terrible, but that's an opinion-based thing, and that that there's a lot that goes into that, and I don't want to talk about all of that. But the system, they wouldn't give me Benadryl, so I couldn't sleep. So I had the one movie, and I just kept watching it over and over and over, and it was just there. But I have an interesting take on that litter phrase that I wanted to just expand upon, because throwing stuff in the trash gets thrown in the landfill and it's essentially still littering. It's better than littering, but it's still essentially littering. Trash in general
aren't there
not handled properly.
I won't lie. One of my biggest triggers, like one of the things that just like gets me angry, like as soon as I see it, when people flick cigarettes.
Oh my God!
Out of
it's
cars.
the most littered item.
Like I get angry. I'm like, you're already fucking like you want to smoke cigarettes. I have no problem with that. It is your right to smoke cigarettes. I have absolutely zero qualm with you going out and spending your money to do that to yourself. That is completely your right. I drink alcohol and do other dumb things, right? So I have no qualms with that. But when you have to fucking just throw it inside the receptacle that's right by every fucking entrance. When people will stand there and they'll take that like last hit, that last like flick it into the street,
and then step
walk
on it,
in the front door of whether it be a restaurant or a mall or a store, and as they walk into the place, right into the building that they just were fucking smoking outside and fuck them. I'm like, you're a garbage person. You're a garbage person.
So
when I drive behind people on the highway and they flick their cigarettes in the window, I see it spin off in the middle of the night. I want to ram into them.
Speaking of which, for those of you that know COVID-19 is going, let's talk about secondhand smoke and how it relates to the current situation in the United States when it comes to wearing masks, because it's very interesting.
Okay.
We have taken action with secondhand smoking and because of how much damage it does to people's lungs when you're around them. Guess what COVID-19 does? It fucks up your lungs. Wear your fucking mask, because it's like breathing smoke on other people, but it's not smoke, it's just your germs.
Have you seen these these fucking
why I wear a mask all day.
Malicious compliance people who are making like masks with the holes in them, like mesh masks?
Oh my God.
Don't block any airflow, just so it looks like they're wearing a mask.
So
why waste your money? Like, it's the stupidest thing.
The reason I bring this up is I went to pick up food the other day. And I literally, I honestly want to start an Instagram, and this feels awful, of just pictures of people I see wearing masks improperly. Or if they have a mask on, they have them just under their chin. I walk into the store. First of all, I have my
I've
mask
seen
on.
so many nostrils. I've never paid attention to nostrils. So like, you don't look at somebody's nostrils. But now, all you do is you're like.
So I got wings from B-Dubs yesterday because I just felt like getting food ordering out. And I went and picked it up.
Acceptable.
And so I'm walking, and I walk past a couple who have their dog, and the lady has her mask under her chin, and her husband's not wearing a mask. And I'm walking past in my mask, and I just go, okay, we're outside. You know, that's a little bit more okay to me because there's space between us and there's outside air. You're not contained. I get to the
realistically,
restaurant.
you realistically just need 3 feet. You know what I mean? Because the study that they did, 6 feet is being precautious, mask is being precautious. 3 feet is where most of the droplets are going to fall off anyways, and that's in an enclosed like a hospital-like setting where there's not much airflow. I mean, there's airflow, of course, but not the same as being outside. But either way, I still wear a mask, you know, when around other people because I'm not a dick.
Who is saying carbon dioxide poisoning? I hope you're not being serious.
No. They're being funny. This is somebody who thinks Messi is the best character, so clearly they're not very bright anyways.
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Fair. So I walk into the restaurant, and there's
Twitch.
There's a couple in there, another customer, and me. One customer who's just waiting on his food has his mask up the whole time. The person at the register has their mask covering their mouth but not their nose. The couple, the girlfriend is wearing the mask, and the boyfriend has the mask on his chin. We're in an enclosed space. And I swear he had his mask on, and then to tell his order, he pulled it down like it blocks his voice.
I won't lie.
And then kept it down.
I was voices makes it hard, but it's not the end of the world. It's like, I'm sorry, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, Having the mask on, what are you just trying to have compliance? So if somebody comes in and complains, you put it
Tyler,
on.
I do have to say,
That's
I did
literally
a
it.
retweet yesterday or the day before of some woman being like, "Oh, you know that incident? Well, that's actually my husband," and she was like really funny parody of it. But like the responses underneath it, people like, "You fucking bitch, you blah blah," and I'm like, "Oh my god!" The responses to her clear parody, her clear satire, her clear being
Is
funny.
that the guy at Costco?
Yeah. And it was she was pretending to be his
What a
wife.
dickhead. Oh
And
my
she's
God.
like, actually, my family has convenient asthma, and like, she's clearly just a funny video. And I was like, the responses are so amazing. I have to retweet this just because
Some
there's so many people
oh
that
my
are like,
God.
"Oh,
Oh my
dare
God,
you!" Like, it was like, "Oh my god!" It's like you don't know what a joke is, or you listen to the first 10 seconds and respond it without listening to the video. Like,
The dumbest people in the world are people who leave comments without watching the video, and people who
those aren't the dumbest people in the world.
Justin,
those are
if
the
you're
dumbest
being
people in the
serious about this
Who-
case where somebody wore a mask
post.
for hours for 5 days, as a person who is
I think he's
immunocompromised and has been in hospitals time and time again, and those that work at hospitals wear masks pretty much constantly, that's a fucking joke.
But I'm sorry, what are you talking about? Case of a person wearing a mask for hours?
There was a case of carbon dioxide poisoning.
Okay, what kind of mask are you wearing?
Yeah.
It's a
Like if
fishbowl.
you are wearing an actual mask,
Glass.
even a
What does it mean?
surgical mask.
I was literally thinking like a glass
No.
mask. Like this sounds like fake.
Yeah.
This sounds like something off of Facebook. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Like
Oh, sorry.
the reason
Go
I
ahead.
bring it up is that the secondhand smoke thing. People complain about secondhand smoke, and that's why we did smoking. I agree with you to an extent. It's your right
Back.
to do that, but I don't
Are we?
think it's your right to do anything that has the potential to harm somebody else. And you not wearing a mask is the same thing as you smoking. If you smoke, and if anybody is near you when you smoke, or even proximity, first of all, the smell of that is the most disgusting thing I've dealt with in my entire life, frankly. It doesn't make me gag or anything, but I can't breathe.
I don't know. I
It's
wear
awful.
I wear a mask for 8 hours straight, unless I'm like taking a piss. I'll take it off when I'm in the bathroom by myself, or if I'm like having lunch and I go separate myself from other people. I wear a mask all day because that's what you do when you work in proximity of other people and you want to respect each other's boundaries. Does it suck? Yeah. That's literally work conversation has become. This sucks. I know it sucks, right? Let's talk about the different layers of how much it sucks. Yeah, it sucks, and that's it.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. But I do it. I'm immunosuppressed. If I get this thing, I'm probably dead. Even if I'm not immunosuppressed, there have been healthy people around my age that have had insane symptoms. The amount of damage that it could do to your lungs, like I'm very angry at the world when it comes to this
Bro,
crap.
it's terrible
because
in my state.
the current
your
stuff
state's
that's
awesome.
going on politically and trying to make it a political thing and being like, well, they opened schools elsewhere, we should be able to open schools. Look at their rates. Look at people and
I
they're
won't
wearing
lie,
their
man.
masks, and it's
I won't lie.
safe.
That not opening schools as a parent is
Oh,
gonna be rough. Well,
No,
I'm
I
fortunate.
feel you,
I'm
but-
fortunate in the fact that my daughter's in preschool, so she actually, because of the program she got accepted into, gets 2 years of additional schooling prior to actual kindergarten, right? So she actually is part of like a program to like start education early. So this is stuff
Yeah.
that not needed, right? But like it's one of those cool things that give you that like edge when you get into school to actually perform well. It's just on so many accounts it sucks because like childcare it doesn't exist. Brittany and I have to juggle our schedules like fucking crazy just to be like, hey, Aurora's not drinking bleach underneath the I mean, granted, the president told her she should, but she's not drinking bleach while we're at work. So, it's I don't know. And Tyler's immunosuppressed because I ravaged him so horribly one night that he just walked away a broken man. I mean,
Frankly,
he's
it
like
was
you
one
have
hell
both
of a night."
completed and broken me at once. It's like I
was
left part of myself
spiritual.
on that counter.
Yeah, I
Summon
just lit some
Snake,
candles and watched.
there are so many studies
Sorry,
that
Messi.
prove what you're saying wrong.
What?
Not the people posting within 5 seconds, but there are so many studies that prove you completely wrong.
Do cause sure. Is there a buildup of CO2?
not to a point to where it would have an effect.
Sure, but there is always a buildup of CO2 in your lungs, and if you're really that worried about it, you know what you can do? Pull it for a second, and then there you go, you're good.
Yeah, for real. Just
CO2 buildup, gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you need a moment where you just pull your mask away and go, and then put it in, you're good. Nobody cares. It's not the intake that anybody cares about. It's the exhaust afterwards. You know?
The exhaust.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
If at work you need like a fiver outside, your boss isn't gonna be like, no, get back to the mines, Canary. Everybody's pretty understanding right now.
Oh, you have to smoke. Oh, please. 15
Actually,
minutes.
I do appreciate when I have work. I don't work with anybody right now that smokes, but when I was kind of like moving from location to here, I work with people who wear a mask all day inside, complain about the mask they're wearing inside, and then go outside for a quick smoke, and then come back with the mask on. I didn't say anything because like people I didn't know them well enough to make those jokes, but definitely something I would normally say.
You were thinking it.
Yeah,
you were thinking it out loud to a few people.
With the people I was working with prior and the people I work with now, I would definitely say something, but because it was such quick touch and go relationships, I didn't want to touch. You know, rather go. So
I'll touch.
Yeah, it's just an ultimate thing that bothers me. Just like, because to me,
I hear you, Snake.
like if you smoke and you're considerate of others and you go far away, yeah, that's fine. But when you just light up right next to an entrance of something, the lack of consideration of others, especially in this current state of the world when it comes to masks and things like that, is literally so awful. It's so awful.
A lot of it too is just you have to understand like some of it isn't necessarily lack of consideration. You have to understand like a lot of people their perspectives come from their news sources. So say for instance, maybe, and I don't know what you watch or what you read or whatever. But hold on. Let's say you choose your news source to be, I'm just gonna say MSNBC. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. It doesn't matter. Let's say you read articles from MSNBC. You don't even watch it. You just read articles from MSNBC. Cool. Yeah, but those next 50 people that you just see standing next to you might only read articles or see clips off of Facebook, which might not even be an actual news source. They might be just somebody's YouTube channel that looks kind of like a news source and they think it's news, but it's really not news. Or, you know, it's Fox News. And so they're not really getting accurate information. And so they think that they're doing the right thing, or they actually legitimately think it's bullshit because they have been misinformed. Should they go out of their way to inform themselves? Yeah, you can say that about literally everything in the world, but there are a vast number of things that I am incredibly ignorant about. I try to read, but there's only so many hours in a day. And so I try to educate myself about as much as I can, but I have no idea what the fuck's going on in Somalia right now. I don't know what's going on. And is Cambodia doing well? I don't know. I know they had a hard time not that long ago. Is they doing good now? Maybe their economy's booming. No fucking clue. It's not that I don't care. It's just that there's only so much you can concern yourself with in each day and each subject, you know? So it's
I get you, but there's enough information out there with regard to cigarette smoking that people who smoke right next to doorways and stuff have a lack of consideration of other people.
Sure, and I think in a situation like that where you are forced to be educated about that, my opinion of smoking is this: if you're under 30 and smoke, I'm genuinely baffled. Like I don't understand it. I'm genuinely baffled. If you're over 30 and smoke, but you're say under 50, I'm like, you're in that age where it's like, okay, I understand why you smoke, but at least you understand it. If you're over 50, I just assume that you either A, don't care, or B, it missed you, because not everything hits everybody. You try to educate about the public, but sometimes people are working or raising their children or just don't care or drunk. You know, it doesn't matter. Like some people just are so embedded into their own lives, which might be very difficult lives, that they don't get the news. They don't hear the stuff. It just goes past.
I think a lot of it too is just how difficult it is to quit cigarettes. I mean, this is so way off topic, but it is like a little concerning, the nicotine levels and all that shit. I mean, honestly, you know what? Never mind.
I mean, currently the government is also spewing fake stuff. So,
but the companies that get you off of smoking are still the companies that produce the cigarettes. Like the nicotine comes from the same source. It's just they get you addicted young, and then they sell it to you, and then they wean you off of it with their product, and then capture you again and pull you back on. Like, and that's one of those things where, in my opinion, if you understood that. Like that is literally one company that literally is putting you into a cycle, that they're making you run the gerbil wheel. intentionally to like make their money off of you. I think that is more convincing information for some people than just being like, it bad, no do. Look at picture of lung. You know what I mean? Because I'm sorry, but like I drive by a place and see a bunch of like dead baby fetus things. And I go,
oh my God.
These people don't know what they're talking about. Just like I'm imagining some people drive by lung picture of smokers and they go, these people don't know what they're talking about. We both might be informed or misinformed in our own ways. So, you know?
Yeah, those people suck, by the way.
It sounds bad to defend ignorance, but I'm sorry. It's just one of those things where
it's like.
I mean, if you want to get to the nitty gritty of it, there's a lot more things that also happen where it's like clearly you just don't have a consideration of others when you cut people off, when you're just being rude, when you're doing all of those things.
Sure.
Like,
and there are, of course. There are people
that's more or less what I'm getting at. Is that is a common thread within the United States of various people, and I'm not trying to shit on Americans, but. You know, right now, American deserves to be shit on.
I'm a Bostonian. Conversationally, I cut people off and talk over people. When I drive, why the fuck are you in my way? I mean, the speed limit's 65. Why are you going 65? Everybody else is going 85. What the fuck is the matter with you? Let's go. Like you literally ripped in front of me to drive 2 under the speed limit. You should be right off the road. Like,
You're so
you
mad.
shouldn't actually be right off the road, but that's kind of like what happens in that moment, because that's
right. I'm just saying.
Josh just moved to New
sense.
England, and he's like, people here drive angry. Yep.
I mean, more or less, the sense in the United States is it's me. It's a me world. It's about me, and that's more or less the issue I have with a lot of things. Is people don't try and think about other people's perspectives or how what they do impact other people, whether they're directly or indirectly.
I think the current leadership is definitely pointed in that direction.
I think it's been like that
leadership
for
has
a
always been
while.
that direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, more extreme currently, but I feel like people, you know, they have the same values, just whether or not they act on them. Like they're gonna think the same way. It's just whether or not they think it's okay to act on it that's gonna change. I don't think you are gonna be able to easily convince someone that thinks smoking in doorways is fine to think that it's not fine, but you can probably convince them, hey, just don't do it for me. I think that, you know, that's a much easier.
Oh, you bring it down to a
selling point.
personal level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most people will respond to that one-on-one interaction, right? And so again, like this is why I'm playing, as somebody said, devil's advocate, or why it sounds like I'm like almost like defending ignorance or whatever it is because I've had so many one-on-one interactions with people that just. Like, I literally had somebody who's my age. I mean, she is either 6 months older than me or younger than me in the past few months, who was giving me their opinion of the coronavirus. Of the Black Lives Matter protests and whatnot going on. And she said, well, I was watching this thing on Facebook, and I don't know who the person was, but, you know, they're on Facebook, so they must be important, right? And then proceeded to say what their opinion was based off what they saw. And they literally said... I was watching this thing on Facebook. I don't know who they were, but you know, they were on Facebook, so they must be important, right? And then continued. That exact quote will be in my head for a long time because I'm like, dude, you are my age. You are 34, you're 33 to 35. You know what I mean? You're somewhere in that range, and you literally just said that. Holy shit. How could you think that? To me, that was one of the most mind-blowing things I've ever, like, that coming from like a boomer, sure. But like, somebody in their 30s who, like, you were in college before Facebook existed. You know what I mean?
There's a level of people right now that I've noticed in I want to say it ends in Gen X, like in between Boomer and Gen X, but it might go all the way to Millennials. I'm not sure. That are very much against the like social norms and that kind of thing. Like they're just super rebellious to the point of risking everything just to make someone else angry and upset. Like I had an old boss of mine that was especially like this. He would get all his news from Facebook and that kind of thing. And he was the kind of person that if you gave him an opinion, he would immediately say the opposite opinion, and that's it. That is 100% the way he's going, just because you came in with a different opinion first. And I think there's like a level of pride to it that younger people don't have yet. I'm sure they'll grow into it, but it's like right around that. Yeah, right around that like late 20s age, it really kicks off, I think, to the point
I won't lie, I was that way in my early 20s. I was very, very, very argumentative, very, very, like, I know it sounds like I'm loud and whatnot, and I'm more than happy to share my opinions, but I'm also, and I hope I'm getting this point across, and again, talking about other people and how I understand it, I try to be open-minded about other people's perspective, and I used to not be that way. I used to literally just sit there and just debate with people that were religious because they were religious. Yeah, I'd quote the Bible against them because it was fun to do and prove them how dumb you are. Ha ha ha!
Well,
You
I'm
believe in
talking
cloud
people that-
fairies. But I know you're saying if you walk
get
in
what
and
you're
you
saying.
say like Nike's the best brand because you're like, fuck you, Reebok is the best because it's like,
Exactly,
okay, no, I know. I was that way in my early 20s. I was a dick.
Well, if I would have came to you in your early 20s and said, "Don't you hate Christians?" Would you have been like, "Yeah," or would you have been like, "You know what? You're kind of an asshole."
I would say no. I just feel bad for them. Is what I would have said. Again, I've
I mean-
evolved and changed as a person. Like I
I'm
think
talking
religion's
about people
beautiful,
who
but
you go in and you say, "Don't you?" and then a point they agree with, and they will immediately say, like they'll be like, "Why are you saying that? That's fucked up." Like immediately jump on it. Like no matter what the opinion is.
oh, I know what you're saying. Those people are just annoying. That's any age.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're saying. That's just annoying. Tyler's that way,
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah,
Tyler,
all
don't
the
you
time.
love floofy hair? No, it's the worst. I only wear it this way because I hate myself. Okay. Whoa, Tyler. There's some
Okay,
layers
Tyler.
there. Some
All right.
layers. You need a hug? No, I hate hugs. Like, are you sure?
Yeah, you
Because
gotta-
I thought you hugged me
you
the
gotta-
first time. You just because I thought you would want one. Like,
So,
okay.
so there's a difference between combative and putting the other perspective to help. Basically,
Yeah, I'm not talking devil's advocate. Even that, I mean, that's okay, like to a certain extent. I'm talking people who
your
will
story where you're
get
just
angry at any
combative, where you
opinion.
just want to have, yeah.
Yeah, any opinion.
Because there will be times in a discussion I'll be having where everybody's talking about one particular thing. One general sense, and they're talking about it and they're all agreeing and different stuff. So I'll insert a perspective to help them understand the other viewpoint, because I'm a
Let me
person.
rewrite a little bit, real quick before you get into that. Let me rewrite. It's not just any opinion. My mistake. It's not any opinion that you come in and say. It's whatever the popular opinion is, whatever the accepted opinion is. Like if you were to say, yeah, masks are good, they would hate it just because everyone's saying it. You know what I mean? That's the kind of person I'm referring to. But go ahead.
I mean, there are
I just
people
wanted
like
to-
that exist. But
Yeah.
I'm more or less saying I understand what Scott is doing in this perspective.
I was thinking hipsters too.
You're creating a
Let's go.
discussion to where you learn different things and you have different perspectives. The issue I see in society today, and the thing that's proponent, is we believe it's dog eat dog and it's us versus them. It's me versus the other person. Nobody has ever gotten anywhere without help. And
I mean, I made my way down to the basement on my own.
I'm
Scott,
trying to think of an example of someone who's gotten somewhere by themselves, but I don't know everybody's, shit. Like
I'm
No.
not throwing
no.
away my shot.
literally,
Yeah, that's funny.
everybody has help one way or another, whether it's
Yeah, I agree. 100%, I agree.
your friends, your family. There's so many places where people have help, and the problem I have is there's this belief that what I do doesn't affect other people, or maybe they just don't realize the things that affect other people. And honestly, consideration of others is a huge pet peeve of mine, so I could talk about this forever. Because when I do something, I understand that what I do can affect my friend Mark, who's big in the industry. It can affect my friend Wade in some way. Like if I did something bad and they were associated with me, it's going to negatively affect them. If I post a video I had sex with somebody and post on it, it's going to negatively
Ew.
affect them. There's negative effects that can come in there
Scott.
because the perception of
that-
other people's stuff. Like
Scott, that tape's coming out?
that's the part that I don't think some people understand, is that when you smoke, how it can negatively affect other people. How when you're not wearing a mask, how it can negatively affect other people.
Yeah, everyone's
if you
actions
decide to
affect
park in
everybody,
2
yeah.
parking spots at a busy place because you want to protect your car, how it can affect other people. It's more or less the fact that I don't understand how you can't recognize, unless it's happening and affecting you, how your actions can affect those that you care about or those that are around you. That's the problem I see, and that's, I think, the root of the problem in a lot of ways of why people act the way they do. I agree there's misinformation that people are talking about. I agree there's a lot of that stuff out there, but I think at the root of it, it's this, I am my own person. I'm going to do it my way because my way doesn't affect other people, or seemingly doesn't affect other people.
Well, even if they see that it affects other people, they don't care because it's not them.
Right,
There's a
but
lot of people like
that's
that
the
too.
thing. That is still a lack of consideration of other people.
Oh yeah, it is 100%. They're all just different degrees. Yeah. Which is why we should move to Marxism. Everyone agree? Yes. Okay.
No, I
nodding
do
heads, yes,
not
okay.
agree. I do not agree with
Oh,
that.
let me eject him from the chat. Sorry, guys. Let me, sorry.
Yes,
Whoops.
please.
Oh God. Yeah, but we do not.
Listen,
Twitch.tv/Daelric does not condone
my
Marxism.
brother's ex-girlfriend tried to preach that, and
Really? Okay. I've never met like a
we're
real
not
one.
getting into this because this is a touchy subject.
I've never met a real one. I've seen. I don't know.
Oh,
is that-
I have,
no.
and it's awful. Because
Okay,
I'm
let
not
me
saying
rephrase that.
I'm not
Never
saying that
personally met a
like
real one.
you shouldn't benefit from stuff that you do, because there's a difference between consideration of others and reward systems. Because if everybody got everything, nobody would be motivated to do anything.
I mean, that's not entirely true. You will, granted, you're
Well, we
saying
don't need
everybody
to go
got
into the
everything.
specifics of Marxism, guys. I
We
think-
have zero examples of somebody ever having been just given everything, and whether or not that
Correct.
causes motivation. We do have examples of people giving the basic fundamentals they need to survive, and that allowing them to thrive and do more to actually increase productivity. But
I agree with you in the sense that we shouldn't have people that are oppressed to the point of homelessness or economically challenged. I think everybody who works and stuff should have a livable wage. I agree with you on that front, but I don't agree with the fact that everybody.
Social
I don't believe in the idea that everybody should just get like everything they need. There's a give and
I'm
take.
one of those people that, you know how we always talk about like the ceiling, like, oh, there's a ceiling, or often referring to women's rights. You talk about the glass ceiling. I personally, my belief is I like the idea of capitalism with ceilings and floors. You know what I mean?
Correct.
There should be a floor for everybody, so you don't fall beneath the cracks, right? You stay at the minimum of this floor, and there should be a ceiling where you can't go above a certain point. Not people, but corporations can't go above a certain point, because that allows
no
once again
billionaires?
everybody else to. No, I'm perfectly fine with billionaires. I think if you fucking crush it, why can't you do well individually? But I think that when one corporation
Exactly,
can
you
just
should
buy
reap
out
the reward.
everything around them, when you have something like Amazon, which doesn't exactly treat its people the best, and just buys out all
Well,
the
yeah.
competition, because it takes
some
all the
could argue
competition
that-
from overseas and brings it here. Once again, there's no ceiling, so it just takes over everything. It becomes a tidal wave. You know?
Yeah, someone say that mindset and doing that, like with corporations being that aggressive, is what creates billionaires. That it's a cause and effect, which is why I said that. But yeah, I mean, if
Well, I don't
someone
think you should
just
cap
wins
somebody's
the
income.
lottery,
I don't believe
yeah,
in
if
capping
someone
an
wins the lottery and
individual's
gets $1 billion,
income.
you know.
I'm fine with an individual owning multiple companies, and those companies compete with one
So,
another, because that
Just
allows
the
for the market to
higher
fight.
taxes. Then is that your?
I mean, well,
the solution, you know?
without going into like the nitty gritty, I live in Massachusetts. I'm of course pro taxes. We pay a lot of them here,
That's fair.
but we have a lot of awesome
So-
social programs here. So
Yeah,
So
I wish we
Bolita
did.
said universal basic income. I very much disagree. I don't believe people should receive wages for not doing work. I believe they should, like, there could be benefits where, like, food stamps, as long as it's not giving you luxury items, which I think there's a lot of issues with food stamps on that front. Because
you just trade food stamps for other things.
well, yeah, and then people do
That's
that.
why the
So there's-
EBT card helps prevent that to a degree, but there's still EBT fraud. So
Well, even without that, an EBT card, you can buy energy drinks, you can buy
all sorts of
ice
stuff,
cream. Yeah, that's the stuff that I'm talking about. It's like those luxury items.
I
don't
I'm fine with
believe
things like
people should-
I'm fine with things like ice cream. I don't think you should deny
Yeah, I
people
don't-
small enjoyments. You know what I mean?
I
If
don't
you-
think it should be EBT covered.
I mean, again, I am fine with that kind of stuff. Sorry.
Yeah,
See,
honestly,
I
if-
have a disagreement in that in the basic understanding of, like, if there was a limit to it. But I see people when I was working at a place that literally just come in every day and get ice cream.
I mean,
And
but-
the problem,
but the thing is, like, you don't necessarily know the person's story, though, right?
Yeah.
I know, I recognize that, but at the same time, nobody needs ice cream every single day. From a healthy biological standpoint, nobody needs ice cream every single day.
I
Scott,
solidly have ice cream 5 times a week. Like, it's pretty bad.
But that's a choice. I'm
It is a-
saying
it is a choice.
EBT is
Okay.
supposed to be there for food stamps are there for you to get food that you could otherwise couldn't. If you were using that on ice cream as opposed to, like, actual sustenance, like the nutrients and stuff you need in your body.
Well, now you gotta go and you gotta
calcium
pick
and
every single
calories
food
and-
group. Yeah, you gotta pick every single food group, every single food. Be like, oh, hot dogs? Nope, not covered. Oh, hamburgers? Yeah, hamburgers are better. We'll cover that. It's like you gotta go through every single one at that point. Honestly, in my opinion, going back to what we were talking about, just scrapping most of our social welfare and replacing it with a UBI, in my opinion, might be easier to manage, like on a personal basis. Because as you were saying, like if you get EBT cards, then there's problems with food when. But if you just give them, you get 10 grand a year, spend it on whatever you need, then I think they're going to be a lot more like, okay, I need to get rent, I need to afford food, that kind of thing. So in my opinion,
I also
I don't
agree
know.
with you
I'm not a
there, as long
fucking
as
political scientist though. I will say, I have no idea.
Well, you don't need to be a political scientist. Frankly, I don't agree with political atmosphere in the sense of it being a job and things like that. That's not the foundation.
You should be a public servant is a good thing. It's just when it
Correct.
becomes a career that it gets questionable.
Correct.
I mean,
Correct.
the good thing about being a career public servant is that you're somebody that has experience, so you know what to do. The bad thing is it breeds needing experience to do what you need to do. It's like the whole idea of like we've all been 16 years old or 18 or 19 or 12, however old you were, and you're applying for your first job and nobody wants to hire you because you don't have experience. And if you don't have experience, somebody wants to hire you, but it's like you need experience, but nobody will hire. It's like that like whole egg chicken situation, trying to get your first job. Then you get into the political realm, and it's like the people expect you to have experience to do well, but you need to get the experience to know how to do things. It's like, So I like the idea of term limits as a public servant.
All across, 100%.
But I also think public servants should be paid better. So you have a term limit, so like you get paid well, so it's worth going into it. But there's a limit, so you can't turn that into your entire career. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I also want to say, because somebody just mentioned military, a lot of military stuff, the technology that we have right now is mostly researched by the military. I agree with you that the military's budget is kind of obscene, and nuclear weapons and a lot of that stuff is obscene. But a lot of our actual research that develops our technology.
That's not where our money goes. Our money doesn't go into research. When you look at the number of extra continental United States bases worldwide and compare it to the number of extra like countrywide, or however you phrase it, extra national bases worldwide that every other country on the planet has combined, and we vastly outnumber them by a ridiculous number. When you look at how many troops we have on our payroll compared to literally every other country in the planet combined, and how many troops they have on their payroll, you go, oh, that's why, the richest nation in the world has a bunch of poor people inside of it. Okay, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah. I agree with you, because they're able to make money off of the results of the research and various stuff like that. Because like pharmaceuticals and I hate the capitalist format for pharmaceuticals. It should never be that way. We could talk about every specific detail.
Again, you need some capitalism when it comes to pharmaceuticals, because it drives for that ingenuity. But when you have rampant
the thing is,
capitalism or crony
that's
capitalism, that's where it gets bad.
Well, so that's the thing, is we don't have that. The system in place that we have with regard to patents, they're not pushing for that stuff. Let me pose this question, since I brought up pharmaceuticals. What incentive is there to cure diabetes? There is none. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Nobody wants to cure it. They want to come up with
like I said, that's why capitalism is a good thing, but capitalism, you can't let anything just run rampant, right? Like having a dog is awesome, but your dog also needs to be trained. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like otherwise, it's just humping your kids' stuffed animals. It's like, no,
My
sorry.
dog can hump whatever it wants.
I'll give a right.
If you don't want to wear a mask, it shouldn't have to.
But that's more or
muzzle my
less
dog.
the issue I have with the idea of defund regicide.
Defund.
What funding?
Getting in that
No
point,
more
I agree with you to
die.
an extent. The majority of the money does not go to the research and all of that stuff for military spending. I don't agree with giving people basic income just outright. I believe there should be some sort of work that's required of them, whether it's being a public servant in some way. We have so much littering and trash that can be cleaned up. I mean, there are places where jobs could be created, and government servant jobs that could be created. And there are times where there are people that can't like physically work, and therefore they should be paid and covered to have those things and those needs covered. That's why I'm saying you don't just get paid. Like, I agree with your system in place. but we also need to educate people on how to manage money. There's a lot of different things that need to be done for that to be an effective system. I think universal healthcare should be a thing because, frankly, the way our system works, having been in the system my entire life, the way doctors are paid is outrageous. The way health insurance works in general and how much we have to pay is outrageous. The fact that they're trying to remove and keep certain things that allowed to be covered on healthcare is bullshit as well. With the recent passing of employers can suddenly be like, nope, you can't have birth control on there, but yet guys can have Viagra. Like, I'm sorry.
Well, recently, in the recent past, they would just get penalized for making those decisions. You know what I mean?
Right.
The change being you just don't really get
Venus
penalized for
here.
that. Yeah, I'm going to kick Tyler out
So-
because he's less important.
All right, do it.
So I
All right.
guess just to leave this chat off before we get back into D&D with a good old message, it's hey guys, go out there and be politically active, learn things, and keep an open mind. Be willing to change if you
Wait,
see
we're
things
not
that.
we're not going to just keep doing exactly this.
No, we will just in September and like November around. You know,
Yeah,
like that,
just
that era.
educate
Just keep in
yourself.
mind, guys. Educate yourself. Be politically active. I think it's every American's
Wait,
duty.
hold
if
on,
you are an
hold
American.
on a second. Rena
study.
just got home from work. She doesn't want to sit here and weigh in politically.
Do you want to weigh in politically, Rena? Rena, what do you feel about Marxism?
Oh my God,
No.
messy stuff.
My brain can't word. Not good.
Good.
It's
okay.
bad.
Great.
So.
I agree. No, I 100% agree. I'm glad we're on
Yeah.
the same page. Everyone
Yeah.
else is like totally wrong on this issue. But anyway, guys, see
No.
that right there? Go Google that. Look that up.
Google.
saying, research is good.
Brain not good. No.
No,
talk
Marxism.
bad.
Go
No
do your
words.
research. Go find your beliefs. You know, read both sides. Don't read just one side. Read both sides. Think about it. I mean, we're coming up on an election year, guys. If you're an American, you got to be on this. That's my message. Thank you.
Head tick, I disagree, but there's a reason they're paid the way they are. Entertainment is
Bessie-
extremely valuable.
Messi 2032.
No, my
I'm running for
opinion.
office 2032.
My opinion is the amount of money that goes into those industries. Some of it should be shaved and put into the industries that make those people. So, like, for instance, if you're talking about the multi-billion-dollar college basketball or college football industries, the fact that those athletes make zero money and have all of the risk with not necessarily any
Didn't they
most
just change
so-
that
so-
this year?
so- hold on.
for basketball, yes, but barely comparatively.
All
right.
You know what I mean?
If you want to get into this, you're talking with somebody who has a master's in sport administration who did a lot of studies and pay for
Hey,
play and
boys.
systems and stuff like that.
How about next
The
week,
main
boys?
underlying issue,
Rena's
the main
eating, it's
underlying
okay.
issue,
Okay, give her a moment.
it's I firmly disagree. The NCAA should remain as an amateur thing. The issue is they make it so it's not amateur, and the systems in place within the professionals have worked in unison with the NCAA to force them to have 2 years used in college. That needs to be removed so that people can go straight from high school to professional. Therefore, that removes that pay for play aspect, and those people in that area are amateurs. Part two, coaches should definitely have a cap. They get overpaid in certain ways, but also development features. Part three, allowing them to use their own likeness, which is the recent trend that's being turned around right now, allows them to make money. Therefore, they have the same rights as other students. And part four, it should be a guaranteed 4-year college scholarship, not 1 year renewable. Therefore, they are truly amateurs and their education comes first and foremost. Therefore, it obliterates the pay for play system because they are guaranteed 4 years of college. And that in itself, with the current price range, is over $200,000.
You guys want to start a cabinet? You guys want to all run together in 2032?
So
with
I've
me?
done a lot of studies on this
32.
and the key things that need to be
Yeah.
changed to make sure that's amateur and to stop the whole professionalism of collegiate athletes. Because frankly, it pisses me off when people want to do pay for play. Because if you don't understand the system with Title IX and the amount of sports that would be abolished and how important athletics and team building and stuff is in an educational system, I have
think
a
the general
whole
consensus-
conversation and the papers I can send your way, Scott.
No,
I think the whole general
I think
consensus
it's
is just
talking
that
But Messi, I don't know
players
if you know
should be
this or not.
paid,
I could have
just
run for
not-
president this year, legally.
what's
Born a
it- is it
United States
35?
citizen, and I'll be 35 before November or before
35,
January
so-
20th of next year. Legally, I
35.
could be. Yeah, I turned
Yeah.
35 in September. That's before even
2032 is
election
the
time.
soonest I can go. I'll be
I
36.
literally could have ran for president because I am I'm older than the
Hey,
rest of you.
2032, Daelric, you want to just, start working on this now?
No, but
Because then I could-
I'm good.
You can be my vice.
I almost ran for local office. I've talked about this before. Right? I almost ran for a local office thing before, but I ended up not doing it because of a bunch of reasons. But anyways, it's because
So it would have been Peepo Pog if you did run, but okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not orange. What? Orange, you glad I didn't run?
All right, D&D time, please. Please.
Oh, I got
Go to
him.
your room.
I got
Just
him.
kidding.
Oh, Rena, I like that tank top you're wearing. Rena, that's
Thanks.
it's making me hot.
Thanks. Yeah, it's
Whoa. Whoa, what was
it's a
that
controversial
aggressive
Let's
motion
Play.
you just did there, Messi?
I was pulling my shirt up. I was putting the mic down. It's a controversial
Sure.
Let's Player. If you can name them, 2,000 brownie points to you. There you go. What do you think? Cool.
I have no idea who that is.
I have no clue.
Good. Tyler, you know him. You just don't know his logo.
For the sake of appropriate recording, I'm gonna switch to
Then,
the away screen.
okay,
I'm
if
gonna
it's
go
who
pee
I
and then
think
we'll
it
come back.
is, okay.
So I'm gonna go
I
to
did
the
not
away
hear what
screen.
Tyler
We're gonna take a quick break, even though Arena just showed up. It gives them a moment to fix their cameras, and then we'll come back. I got
What's
to
up?
pee. Arena wants
I
to
gotta
finish eating
pee
her
and I
food because
gotta
she
put water in
just stopped working. Arena, I like your hair. Oh my god. I still like run my fingers through it, but have them get caught, and then we have to spend an awkward few minutes
Oh my God.
with you gingerly taking my fingers out of your hair.
He's talking to you, Tyler, just to clarify.
Rena knows. Rena's aware
but
that I
Tyler
don't
is
say
not-
creepy things
Tyler
to her.
does not know.
Okay?
Tyler does
She
not
knows.
know.
I'm choosing to ignore Scott at this particular moment, you know?
All right, so Rena, I guess while we're on off screen, because you just came back, you're probably all fresh and ready to go. I'll just catch you up on the pros and cons of Marxism, and I think that we'll be
Okay, we'll be
So
right
just-
back, everybody. Bye.